Today, we're looking at a blue-black ink by Callifolio Bonne Esperance. Hi, I'm Adam, and I'm an ink guy. I get inks, test them, and share the results with you. Now, as always, there's timestamps down below so that if you're in a hurry, you can skip around, but if you got the time, check out the entire video. Also, if you're interested, you can follow me over on Instagram, and if you're new here, I would invite you to subscribe. I do a new ink review daily. To make sure I have a range of experience with this ink, I did the writing samples, inked up the Levenger True Writer with a broad nib, wrote with it for a day, and then used it to take my notes for this video. This first writing sample is done on Clairfontaine, Tomoe River, and Rhodia paper. Additional papers will show up later. Now, let's look at the writing sample. I picked this ink up in sample form, so it comes in a vial something like this. And to keep my writing samples consistent, I use a Jinhao 159 with a Goulet 1.1 stub, a Jinhao X 450 with a Goulet medium, and a Jinhao X 750 with a Goulet extra fine. Let's take a look at the Clairfontaine. No bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, and no shade. Now the extra fine is quite a bit lighter than the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen, and some very nice shading spots. Look at brown, starts dark and gets light. Look at how jump starts light, gets dark, gets light again. Over, starts light to dark. 9 seconds to dry. Medium is darker than the extra fine, about the same tone as the stub, with no feather spread, halo sheen or shade, and 12 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show us no color variation, and we got it in the extra fine, it's just not showing in the scrubby. Tomoe River. No bleeding, normal Tomoe River ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, and no shade. The extra fine is quite a bit lighter than the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen, or shade. 15 seconds to dry. Medium, same tone as the 1.1 with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade. 21 seconds to dry. Now the scrubby for both show us no color variation. We didn't expect it and we didn't get it. Rhodia. No bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade. The extra fine is quite a bit lighter than the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen, shading spots like the starts lighter and gets darker. Quick goes from darker to a little bit lighter, darker. Brown starts darker and works its way lighter, so it's very nice in here. And 10 seconds to dry. Now medium is darker than the extra fine, again, about the same tone as the stub. No feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, 13 seconds to dry. Scrubby for both really don't show color variation, and that's because the extra fine color variation, it's a subtle color variation, so I'm just not seeing it here, but I do get to see it in writing. I agree with Vita that I've learned a lot by doing multiple chromatographies. The one on the left is done the way it's supposed to be done. I put a line of ink down and immediately put it into water for 10 to 15 seconds. And what we see is this blue is just blue. It pushes its way up, pushing away from the water and gathering at the top, which is how you would largely expect it. The one on the right, I let dry for 10 minutes before I dunk it into water. And we see a definite blue line forming across the bottom, which does make you wonder if it's going to have a little hold on. Resistance tests are done to see how well this ink can be expected to perform on the page, and more importantly, how hard it might be to clean from your pen. I let the smear dry for 3 days before testing it. Looking at the highlighter, I wouldn't use it in a note-taking situation because of the blowout of the lowercase h and how much feathering has started to occur just because it was a little re-wet. Now water is lifting all of the darkest tones, but that blue that stayed in the second chromatography is staying around when it comes to this water. Pen flesh, on the other hand, is certainly breaking it up, and you see that streak of the white of the paper starting to get ready to come through. So with more than 30 seconds, I'm sure that pen flesh will do everything that you need getting this out of your pen. The 1/3 bleach solution, which you will not need, does completely remove it from the paper. I test ink viscosity with a tilt test that I'll link somewhere. Now for the inks I've tested, I have found an average viscosity of 2.5, with the realm of normal being from 2.1 to 2.9. Callifolio's Bonne Esperance has a viscosity of 2.5, making it not just normal, but average. To find my average dry times, I use my writing samples done on Clairfontaine, Tomoe River, and Rhodia paper. I average those, and for the inks I've tested, I found an average dry time of 17 seconds, with a realm of normal being from 13 to 21 seconds. Callifolio's Bonne Esperance has an average dry time of 13 seconds, putting it on the low side of normal, but still normal. Instead of finding inks that look like Callifolio's Bonne Esperance, I would prefer to find an ink that complements its color on the page. And I wanted a really nice red like Colorverse Redshift. The second writing sample is done on yellow Rhodia, black and red, and white lines paper. Here we're looking at the yellow Rhodia to see if we get any kind of real tone change that occurs for having yellow paper. So the interesting thing to me that's actually occurring is it's the same tone but lighter, as if it's faded some when it goes on the medium. You see it's just a little bit lighter. Same with the extra fine, same with the 1.1 stub. It's not really changing the color of the ink so much, just making it look a little lighter, which that's a very interesting result. I haven't had just that before. Black and red notebooks have no bleed or ghost. The 1.1 has no feather, spread, halo sheen, and no shade. The extra fine is quite a bit lighter than the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen, and no shade, 5 seconds to dry. Medium is darker than the extra fine, same tone as the stub. No feather spread, halo sheen, or shade, 8 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both shows no color variation, and we didn't get any. Last up is white lines, not a paper known for its fountain pen friendliness. Yet it does very well with no real bleed, no real ghost. Fantastic. And the 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, and no shade. The extra fine is quite a bit lighter than the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, 3 seconds to dry. Medium is darker than the extra fine, same tone as the stub. No feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, 4 seconds to dry. Scrubby for both show us no color variation. We didn't expect it, we didn't get it, and that is all that I have for the writing sample. So what do I think of Callifolio's Bonne Esperance? This is a perfect blue-black. It goes right where I want it to be. Not too blue, not too black, and it gives great shading in every pen that I used it in. Fantastic blue-black. So what nib and pen will give the best writing experience with this ink? While I did say it'll give a good writing experience with every pen, I did find that very wet pens make it not so much a blue-black, but a very dark blue. So I would go with a medium flow, broad pen to really be able to see that full experience here. I do new ink reviews every single day, so if you're new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.